If you've heard the name Yarael Poof before, it's likely from Robot Chicken, which did a series of sketches essentially making fun of this obscure member of the Jedi Council. Star Wars fans know Yarael Poof as one whom the Council always sent out for pizza, whom Yarelle never let borrow her car, and whom even the Empire forgot about. But while Robot Chicken is great and all, they really did our boy dirty in this case. Yarael Poof was anything but a meme. He was a revered member of the Jedi High Council, a dedicated servant of the Force if ever there was one. Master Poof was a hero, one who gave his life to save trillions of others. Today, we'll be telling the full story of this much maligned Jedi Master. This video is brought to you by the Ridge Wallet. As someone who likes to roam the galaxy in a light and secure way, the Ridge Wallet is absolutely perfect. Among many others, my favorite part of these wallets is the sleek and beautiful design, as well as the RFID blocking technology that protects from the ever-increasing threat of digital pickpocketers. With every dollar spent on the website before September 18th, you'll be entered to win an off-road optimized convertible 2020 Jeep Gladiator or 50k if you prefer cash. Make sure you check the description and click the link ridge.com/Geetsly for 10% off and a chance of winning the Jeep. Yarael Poof was a Kiermian, a member of a species that itself was actually much more interesting than it gets credit for. The Kiermians were actually an artificial species, having been created some 17,000 years before the Clone Wars by rogue Arcanian scientists who were experimenting on a group of Zezto, a similar looking sentient species. Since the Arcanians' work was illegal, the existence of the Kiermians was actually covered up at first, and the specimens created by the scientists were hidden on the remote planet of Kermia. There, the Kiermians settled in and developed on their own, and for millennia, the nature of their ancestry was denied both by the Arcanians and the Zexto themselves. From the outside, the Kiermians pretty much just looked like Zexto that were 2 or 3 times larger than normal. Like the Zexto, they were highly dexterous and had 4 arms, though they usually kept their second, smaller pair of arms hidden under cloaks, as Yarael Poof did. They also lacked spinal columns and had 2 brains, one in their heads and another located in their chests. Xenobiologists claimed that this unique brain structure granted the Kiermians some form of telepathy, though the Kiermians themselves said it was a misunderstanding of their natural aptitude for deciphering body language. Regardless of whether the Kiermians as a whole were actually telepathic, Yarael Poof most definitely was. All Force sensitives were telepathic on some level, but Yarael Poof had a gift for telepathic Force powers few Jedi could match, which made him a prominent student during his time as an apprentice. He chose the path of the Jedi Consular, intending to develop his mental powers further, and rose quickly through the ranks of the Jedi Order, becoming a Jedi Master in short order. Yarael Poof soon proved himself to be one of the best and brightest the Jedi Order had to offer. In his time, he became the most gifted illusionist in the entire order, skilled in reading minds, performing mind tricks, projecting images into others' minds, creating doppelgangers of himself, and making opponents believe he was invincible. He was also gifted in the art of battle meditation and was known for having the rare ability to telekinetically start fires. On top of this, Master Poof was also an intensely talented lightsaber duelist, having mastered 3 different combat forms. All of this naturally made Yarael Poof one of the best fighters in the Jedi Order. His skills with the Force and with the lightsaber were enhanced even further by his lack of a spinal column, which allowed him to bend around in ways most beings couldn't. He was such a good fighter that he was selected as one of the commanders of the defense of the Jedi Temple during the Yinchori uprising in 33 BBY, which saw the temple attacked by rebels secretly incited by the Sith. Under Poof's leadership, the Jedi easily repulsed the attack on their temple, and the Yinchori uprising was soon defeated entirely. As you might expect for such a skilled Jedi, Master Poof received an invitation to join the Jedi Council fairly early in his career. On top of that, he was given the rare honor of being one of just 5 council members appointed for life instead of for a short term. We don't exactly know when he became a member of the council, but in canon, he was already on the council a full 200 years before the Battle of Naboo during the High Republic era. In Legends, Kiermians didn't live anywhere near that long, so we don't quite know whether this was true across both timelines, but it's an interesting tidbit all the same. As we mentioned earlier, Yarael Poof had a well-earned reputation as one of the Jedi Order's greatest fighters, but he was also known for something else within the Jedi Order itself, his sense of humor. Poof served on the council in a time when it had not yet been corrupted by the traps the dark side had set around it. A time when being humorless and obstinate wasn't a prerequisite for serving on the council. In fact, even after his elevation to the Jedi Council, Master Poof was known for using the Force to pull practical jokes on other Jedi, often through use of mind tricks and the like. Though this was all in good fun, Poof believed his mischief had a lesson in it that Jedi would do well to learn, that perception was subjective and could be unreliable. Yarael Poof took after Qui-Gon Jinn of all Jedi in quite a few ways, despite being a Jedi counselor. Like Jinn, he was intensely compassionate and always helped those in need, sometimes even putting council missions on standby to do so. He was living proof that becoming a Jedi Master or even a Jedi Counselor didn't necessarily mean one had to compromise one's values or turn into a humorless bureaucrat. He was, in effect, what members of the Jedi Council should have been like. Yarael Poof went on many missions in his time as a Jedi, but perhaps no mission brought out his character more than his last one. 5 years after the Battle of Naboo, the Anu Dat revolutionary Ashar Korda set in motion a plan to destroy the Republic. Sometime earlier, the Republic judicial forces had been sent to his homeworld to suppress a revolution that Korda started, resulting in the warlord's defeat and exile. In the years after this, the vengeful General Korda gathered a group of fellow anti-Republic fighters and sought out an artifact called the Infant of Shar, an ancient superweapon with the potential to destroy an entire planet. In 27 BBY, he finally acquired the artifact after hiring Jango Fett and Zam Wesell to steal it for him. The Jedi Council eventually learned of Korda's acquisition of the artifact and that he planned to unleash the Infant of Shar on one of 3 core Republic worlds, Alderaan, Corellia, or Coruscant. Oppo Rancisis left for Corellia in case Korda went there, while Eeth Koth volunteered to protect Alderaan. Yarael Poof, meanwhile, was ultimately chosen to defend Coruscant, as his mental powers would allow him to more easily pick out the Infant of Shar's Force signature from the trillions of others that crowded Galactic City. With little time to waste, Poof made his way into the depths of Coruscant, seeking the Infant's Force signature. Along the way, he came across a young boy whom some local thugs were harassing, and despite the importance of his mission, he stopped to help the young lad, scaring the hoodlums off with a mind trick. After this, he finally felt the disturbance in the Force he had been looking for. The Infant of Shar was indeed on Coruscant, and it was nearing full power. Without wasting another minute, Poof made his way to Coruscant's central power generator, where he sensed the artifact was located. In the generator complex, Poof found General Korda, a band of his followers, and the Infant of Shar. He also encountered a pair of surprise guests, Jango Fett and Zam Wesell, who had realized their mistake and came to stop Korda themselves. Poof and the bounty hunters formed an uneasy alliance and did battle with Korda's followers, defeating them all in short order. During the skirmish, Poof was able to retrieve the Infant of Shar, but before he could do anything with it, Korda came up behind him and stabbed him with a vibroblade. Fett and Wesell belatedly finished Korda off, but Master Poof was already severely wounded. As he lay injured, he begged the bounty hunters to bring him the Infant of Shar, and after a bit of hesitation, Zam Wesell did so. Using the Force, Poof was able to permanently defuse the superweapon, rendering it harmless and saving Coruscant from destruction. Doing this required an immense exertion of Force power, however, and so this came at the cost of Master Poof's life. Without giving even a moment's thought for his own life, Yarael Poof sacrificed himself to save trillions of others, an act that deeply moved even Jango Fett and Zam Wesell. Following his death, Master Poof was cremated and replaced on the Jedi Council by Coleman Treble. He was remembered as one of the Jedi Order's finest, and his passing was mourned by many. So, that's the story of Jedi Master Yarael Poof, one of the most righteous Jedi to have ever lived. This video is just the first in a 4-part series about a few lesser known Jedi Masters, so tune in again next week to see us discuss another. But for now, what do you think? Has your attitude toward Master Poof changed at all? Feel free to post your thoughts in the comments section below, and as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.